We'll give it a little bit of time. Welcome everybody. I'm Druid Nicholas Klein, founder of Druid Circle, founder of the Druid Order of Blessed and Wood, founder of Druid University. All to come within the next several years. We're starting a new show. I did part of it the other day, and this is called Divergent Druidism. We'll upload them at 8 o'clock on Tuesdays on YouTube, but we will be doing them from Facebook first, and then we'll upload them. We are here with Joseph, and Joseph is going to also talk to us a little bit about, some things that we really could talk about in this show that's going to promote how to remove ourselves from the deep state and how to kind of move away from the idea of this mob mentality. And I put all that in the description, so I hope you enjoy, and I hope you continue to watch and know that that this is going to be one awesome show. And Joe, if you want to say some words and talk about some of the things that you would like to talk about during this, or
well, my name's Joseph, and I live in Philadelphia, and I am somebody that has worked on myself spiritually and mentally my whole life, and I am on a path that has unfolded before my eyes as I've lived my life, and I kind of just follow that path and go where it takes me, and the wisdom that I've picked up along the way I try to share with other people, and I try to gain their wisdom too.
You know, Joe and I actually met a long time ago. We were at an anonymous march when we were doing the march against media. Hold on. Sorry guys, I gotta turn off my notifications. Didn't mean that. Hold on. There we go. Oh. There we go. Sorry about that. Alright, so March Against Mainstream Media, that's where we met, and that definitely got they infiltrated us on that. Yeah. They did infiltrate us on that. Well, anyway, I want to start with a poem or a writing from Delamere Duveros, and I'm going to learn how to pronounce your name, I promise. But it goes like this. It goes, one basic truth can be used as a foundation for a mountain of lies. And if we dig down deep enough in the mountain of lies and bring out that truth to set it on top of the mountain of lies, the entire mountain of lies will crumble under the weight of one truth. And there is nothing more devastating to a structure of lies than the revelation of the truth upon which that structure of lies was built. Because the shock waves of the revelation of the truth reverberate and continue to reverberate throughout the earth for generations to follow, awakening even those people who had no desire to be awakened to the truth. And when I talk about Druidism, and I talk to you about the idea and the importance of not necessarily waking people up, because we're not the woke AF crowd. They're actually still the sleeping crowd, unfortunately. But what we want to think about is helping people to recall, to remember what truth is. And now that we are in a war on truth, a war on what really happened, a war on what actually occurred, I think that together, Joseph and myself can help with this whole idea, and we're going to talk about some of the things that we'll be explaining to you guys on this show. And it will be usually at 8 o'clock on Tuesday nights, Eastern Standard Time. And if we catch it in a day, we'll put it on YouTube at 8 anyway. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Again, please, I do this for free. I don't charge any money. The only thing I ask is if you guys could get The Druid Circle on YouTube. The Druid Circle on YouTube, 1,000 subscribers. This way, we could move everybody to YouTube and get off of fascist communist book. So, again, thanks for watching. And today we're going to give you a little introduction of what you're going to see during this. And we have our American flag in the back, and we're not ashamed to show it. Go ahead.
You know, I think with truth is something that we should be able to just see and recognize it. There should be no need to reveal the truth because it should be obvious.
Right.
I don't waste my time trying to wake people up. Everybody's on their own journey, you know. I know, like, my journey of discovering the way reality works it's a spiritual journey for me. And as I became more in tune with my spiritual self, that's when the truth just became obvious to me. There wasn't anything I had to figure out. I just had to open my eyes, and you start to see the universal truth that's around us all. You observe nature, you observe people. You know, you look at the sky, you look at the ground, you look all around you, and the truth is right there. And, you know, there's a lot of people that they're not, if they're not ready to hear something, it's like speaking a foreign language.
Right.
You know, if you wanted to teach somebody a foreign language, you couldn't just start speaking that language and expect them to understand what you say. There has to be a process. And as that process goes on, then they learn it. And then when they hear it, they recognize it. And you know, I've found the same to be true for myself. You know, so it also, if I try to wake people up, I'm wasting my time doing that when I could be engaging with people that are already on the same path as me and already understand the same truth.
Sure.
Them and I, if you and I get together and we discuss things,
well, we talk for hours.
Yeah, we talk for hours, but inevitably we're going to come out of the conversation and we both have gained more from it.
Right.
Now, if we grab somebody off the street and say, hey, guess what? We know this, and that, we're wasting all of our time, and we're going to come out of it stupider, exhausted, and that person isn't going to know any more of the truth.
Absolutely.
You know, but that person maybe at some point when they have a desire to learn that stuff, they'll seek it out, you know. And I mean, I know I can pinpoint times in my life, mostly in my early to mid-20s, when little things would happen and it would catch my eye, and I'd think, you know what, there's more to this than what I'm seeing here, you know. And it sometimes it was you know, something I saw on TV. Sometimes it was just looking at the way people behave.
Sure.
You know, sometimes you could be in school, or, you know, you can be in other situations and you watch the way things unfold, and you think, there's more here that I need to pay attention to. And that was sort of like a whole experience that, I mean, a lot of people had a massive revelation when, like, September 11th happened, and I know that had a huge impact on me. You know, I think people my age, I'm in my early 40s, and it's like, at that time I was, you know, 20, 21, and there's like the person I was before that happened, the person I was
Sure.
You know, like, if you would have asked me certain questions before that happened about my thoughts of the way the world and universe works, I would have had completely different answers than I had after.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, you said two things. I just want to cover this, and I feel it's important. I think that you covered the idea of language, right? And I think that language in itself, language helps people remember. I think that helping others remember things help them see truth, right? That when we remember, we are, you know, there's two words in there. There's obviously the idea of self and repeating ourselves again. But interestingly enough about the whole language thing is that the words coming out of my mouth right now, and I tell this to the guys all the time on the Druid Circle, I'm like, the words that are coming out of my mouth, people are only understanding because those words are sounds, and those sounds are and our utterances, and all of that is connected to pictures. The words coming out of my mouth right now, if I were to speak, say, some language you did not speak, you wouldn't understand a word I'm saying, just like you said earlier. But you are only understanding me because you know that those pictures are going into your head. And when a picture doesn't go in your head, you're like, can you repeat that? Or what was that? Or, hey, what did you mean by this? And so that's one thing. I also think that this idea of shocking people in a way of not necessarily waking others up, because like you said, there are not many people that are ready to hear the truth. However, if you find people sort of below or above, you still could connect to that frequency, and you could still connect to that vibration.
Yeah. And
I think that's, I saw it when I saw your shirt, and it was, I saw Joseph's shirt. It's actually
it's like a Che Guevara shirt, but with Ronald Reagan on it.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, is that Che? I say Che Guevara, whatever, Guevara, whatever, Guevara. But I was like, are you like Marxist? Are you doing Marxism? I'm like, and he's like, no. He is the furthest from a Marxist. Anyway, so we're, I guess the thing is. What we're going to cover, and I think in our first show, I already did the first show, which was something that I talked about in my own, I guess my own personal experience and what I was going through in the past 3 months, and that is I truly believe that there's a lot of dark magic actually happening right now and occurring right now, and this dark magic as it unfolds is really hitting the light bearers, the carriers of truth. And I always use that term "adenit," which means burn your torches through the night in Gallego. But I would say that when we do that, we are in a sense carrying our torches, carrying our truths, and that is what makes this awesome. And I hope you guys enjoy. But Joe, you want to talk about some of the other things we're going to be doing during this show and what we're going to be covering? And
I think we're
going to cover a lot.
I don't even think we know what we're going to do.
Yeah,
it's sort of like something that.
Like today we talked. I said that could be a show.
Yeah, and that happens all day long. I think the first time we sat down and talked about what we're going to talk about is totally different than what we're talking about now. I mean, I think we originally had started out talking about that sort of term that we keep hearing about, a great reset.
We could still talk about it.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know, it might be old hat, but old news.
Well,
but I think we could still talk about it.
The lexicon of the mainstream media has sort of like shied away from that term over the past couple weeks, and I don't know if that is because the term itself started waking people up, because sometimes I think they try things and they try it and they think they're going to sneak by people. And
right.
Like the mask thing,
sure.
That got accepted unbelievably well. I was like, when they started telling people to wear masks, I thought, oh my God, after a month of that, people are going to start to wake up and they're going to have to stop doing it. But sure enough, people totally clung to it, and that was a win for them, where they were like, wow, this has been a huge success, because here we're a year on, people are loving the masks, they're addicted to them.
They're getting colors, they're getting patterns.
Well, it's like, what if they're putting like nicotine in the masks? So it's like people are getting addicted to them. They take them off and they're getting a nick fit.
Joe, I told you the dude that was in our building, and he said he came in and he's like, oh wait, was it me and you, Jeremiah? It might have been me and you. And the guy's like, I'm like, I don't know about you, call him Joe, John, whatever. And he's like, oh no, these are fashionable now. I'm like, what are you talking about? Fashionable.
A big problem is like The whole idea behind clipping a dog's tail has to do with dog fighting, and like you want that dog to appear aggressive. Well, I think too they don't want the tail getting bitten by the other dog.
Sure,
but
right.
it's a way. The tail is a way for a dog to send another dog a message that they're a friend, you know. And our mouth is like that to us. It's like you walk past somebody and you go. Yeah, you smile. You
smile. You have an expression.
That is a form of communication with somebody. It's to let that other person know, hey, I'm cool. You know.
Right.
And the mask makes it so we're all suspicious of each other. We have no idea. Like if somebody's coming at you, you can't smile.
But even the terminology, this social, it's called. They do this all the time. It's like social distance, right? You can't be distant and be social at the same time.
Yeah.
They're using this terminology that's like we're all in this together, but yet when you go to a place, this is your spot. Stand on this spot. Yeah. This is your spot, and it's like, what's going on here? Is this fascism? Yeah. I call it ethereal communism. That's what I call it because it's attacking our heart, our soul, our mind, and our spirit. It's all four of them. And I disagree with Augustine because Augustine came out and said that the body, it's the body, soul, and spirit. And I say no. I think the body is separate. It's the vessel, but it contains the heart, the soul, the mind, and the spirit, the Druidic tetrachonomy. And I do believe that it is disrupting us.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, guys. I thought I had... Let me just see if I could do this again. There we go. It's off. But, But go ahead.
Yeah, and I don't know how you can't see that everything going on is spiritual. It is definitely a spiritual attack, and I think the point of it is they think they're giving the final... death blow to spirituality so they can start us out scratch. It's like there's a method that it was done in drug rehabs in the 60s. It's done in like the military where you break somebody down and then you can build them up the way you want them. That is what I think a lot of this stuff is going on. They think that they've gotten rid of spirituality because of, church attendance has completely collapsed. Even in America, which is the second most religious country in the world, according to participation. So they think that they just need like a few more things so they can wipe spirituality out. Then they have a blank canvas. And they can repaint it in their own image. They'll do whatever new religion they want that'll fit their needs at that time.
And I even think in a sense, and you guys could disagree with me on this, but even Buddhism, most Buddhists will say I'm an atheist. They have to say they're an atheist. They have to, because if they say they believe in God, it goes against the communistic agenda, right? When deep down inside, no. There is no idea. I think that they still have a tabernacle. They still have there's nothing in Buddhism that I see as atheism. But
I've
you know what I'm saying? But I always wondered, why? And then I forgot. I'm in a place where there's ethereal communism, and I can't even say that I believe in something more because you'll get killed.
Because theologically,
because they want the government to be more.
The government is the higher power.
The government becomes the higher power.
And Buddhism isn't necessarily a religion where the deity is the focal point of the theology, but it is one where you could sort of claim atheism sort of covertly.
Sure.
So they're trying to placate the government that's over there, and then just do their own thing where they're not under the watchful eye.
Right. They're all seen eye.
I don't think that's possible with the Abrahamic religions. It isn't. It flat out isn't.
Right.
There's no real way. Jews, Christians, Muslims would be like. Sort of like, oh, well, we don't really believe in God.
No, you can't do it.
It's weird because there are some Northern European countries where you have a higher church attendance than you have in a belief in God. which would suggest that there's people that are attending church that don't believe in God. But I think that's because they use church as a social something that's done for social reasons, which is different than what we have going on here. You know,
and even in paganism, I would say, you know, modern day paganism. I mean, a lot of people, and you know, we always talk about paganism in the sense of, you know, something negative, not us, but, you know, it's always spoken in negative form, when actually the old religions, the old ways, the you know, they're the ones that had the mythology. They're the ones that had the stories. They were the keepers of the gold, which was not necessarily regular monetary gold of value, but literary gold. You know, the idea of knowledge, and they were the keepers of knowledge, and so were the Druids and the old priests and whatnot. So, you know, most belief systems have the higher deity as a pantheon, or deities as a pantheon. But today, what's happening is that we're removing that quote unquote spirituality, even though I don't use that term often. But you know, the idea of removing something beyond us, replacing it with something physical that can be our savior. I think we're looking for a savior.
Yeah, that's a dangerous concept. It is, like, I've heard the critique of Christianity in that one of the biggest problems with our society right now is that in a culture that is a Christian-based culture, there's a constant need for a savior.
Right.
When and it prevents people from actually doing something in the here and now.
Now, right.
Even in Judaism, because they're waiting for a Messiah.
Right.
And I've even thought to myself, you know, where in the Bible does it specifically say there's going to be a savior? Like, I mean, there's little things here and there that I think were meant for the time being that they were written, talking about in 100 years from when it was written. Certainly not like sort of like in human history as a whole.
Right, and and I want to touch on that because that's important, especially people who, you know, might not have much and want a savior and are weak and vulnerable. What ends up happening is that when the government themselves become, or the deep state become the I guess the provider, the caretaker, we're replacing true deity or deities with something physical. And there's an old expression. It was like, if the government has enough, if the government has enough power to give you everything, then they have enough power to take everything away.
It's a messiocracy.
It's a messiocracy.
You know?
It is. It's a messiocracy, and it's the idea of that. But so, anything else you want to talk about for the introduction, or whatever?
I mean, I love just having a free form conversation.
Yeah, and that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to have a title. We're going to have a topic, but we might not stay on topic. So whatever.
You know what though? I know like some of the best stuff that I watch, like videos of interviews and stuff. It's always people just doing that, like sort of free form.
Just free form.
And sometimes like some real good nuggets come out. You know,
you
think you sort of open yourself up to the universe, and you know, let the wisdom of the ages sort of like come out in just conversation.
The Akashic Records.
Yeah.
So hopefully you'll join. It'll be we'll Joe, depending on Joe's work schedule, it might be whenever, but it will be on Tuesdays. And then we'll upload it on YouTube at 8 o'clock. So this way you guys can see the premiere on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. I really implore thee to do that. We need that so that this way we can move away from Fascist Book and onto YouTube. And anyway, so that's about it. And again, thank you all for watching. We hope you enjoyed this small talk on Divergent Druidism. Whatever time of day it is, make it great. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a good night.